Hello and welcome to Kaliyuga Dharma. On another episode on Goseva, we will be seeing today how to interact with cows and bulls, what makes interaction with them different from interaction with most other creatures, and particularly how to feed them, what to feed them, when to feed them, and how to in general behave around them. Now, it is often thought that they can be fed anything and everything. This is patently false, and in fact, the Mahabharata even goes to the extent of saying that this is evil. We must never do something like this. If we are going to give a cow cooked food, it's a different question altogether. If you're going to give it raw food, it's a different question altogether. Most of us do not give cows and bulls cooked food, and so we will focus a little more in this episode on the raw food that we give cows and bulls and what to give and how to give it to them. In general, how do you behave around a cow? How do you feed a cow? What do you feed a cow? And what do you think of while interacting with a cow? We have seen in our last episode that cows and bulls are actual forms of Shri and Narayana that are made venerable, and therefore you must behave around them how you would behave around Bhagavan and Shri themselves. You would behave at most respectfully, you would not create any discomfiture for them, you would feed them only those things that our scriptures approve of, and when you are actually interacting with them, you show only care and respect and keep a very clean mind around them. These are general rules. Now let's get into a little bit of the specifics. In general, you have to be very controlled around a cow in terms of your own actions, your own reactions. Never get annoyed with them. They are way greater than any other creature in penance. You would do well to ignore some of their behavioral quirks. Sometimes they tend to jerk their head at you. Sometimes they may tend to move away from you. Sometimes they may tend to not trust you very easily. You cannot get angry because of all this and take it out on them, because they are extreme sattvikas and a permanent presence of Shri and Narayana is felt around them. If you do some such thing around them, the curses of all the devas inhabiting within them will fall on you. So therefore, if you are very controlled around them, they will be controlled around you. You do not show a cow or a bull anything that is otherwise unpleasant to a human. Don't show them vulgar pictures, pictures of violence. Do not commit any acts of indecency in front of them. This doesn't mean that you can commit it away from them when they are not in front of you, but especially in front of them, do not. Do not speak anything evil, do not think anything evil, because remember, a cow is equivalent to a yajna fire. Whatever you think around a yajna fire, the yajna fire is not just a fire, it's Sriman Narayana in the form of a fire. Ergo, the cow is Sriman Narayana in the form of a cow, equivalent to a yajna fire. And whatever you offer into a yajna fire, the punya karma will magnify and come back at you, and the papa karma will also magnify and come back at you if you offer something sinful or think something bad while offering. So when you're giving something to a cow, have very clean thoughts. When you are around a cow in general, even if you're not giving anything, think very clean thoughts, be very controlled. Do not go and unnecessarily fondle them, pat them, pinch them, tap them. No. Treat them like you will treat sages. When you see a sage, a really respectful sage, you will not go and stroke him on the back. You will not go and tap him, pinch him. No. Avoid, although a lot of people like doing this, avoid going and unnecessarily stroking a cow. They don't like it. And if they feel discomfitured by you, it'll take a second for them to curse you. Be very careful around them in general. Now, what to feed a cow? You in general feed a cow all those things that you offer in a yajna or you offer a brahmana as bhiksha. You feed all the fruits that you normally keep for your puja, preferably bananas. Assuming you're living in the Indian subcontinent, bananas are available in abundance. You can feed it bananas, you can feed it apples, you can feed it pomegranates. If you can buy oil cakes, you can feed oil cakes. If you're someone who presses oil from sesame or from mustard, save the oil cakes and feed it to a cow. You can feed a cow hay. You can feed a cow almost any type of grass. They eat any kind of grass. You can feed it maize. You could feed it millets. These are all okay to feed a cow. What are all not okay to feed a cow? Even among the so-called vegetarian items, onions and garlics, mushrooms, any fruit or any vegetable or fruit that is usually of a complete foreign origin which we don't offer in our pujas, such as olives or kiwis, avoid giving these to cows. And of course, cheeses. It doesn't matter whether the cheese uses animal rennet or whether it uses microbial rennet. Do not offer cheese to a cow. You don't offer anything that those things that you don't offer in a puja, you don't offer it to a cow either. It may appear like a small trivial thing to you, but offering these things to a cow is equal to putting these things in a yajna fire. Remember, when you give onion and garlic to a cow, hypothetically speaking, it's like giving onion and garlic in a yajna fire. Would you do that? The same goes for mushrooms, cheese, or olives, or any other thing. So do not give these things to a cow. That which you won't give in a yajna fire or keep for a puja as naivedya, don't give it to a cow. Now, while feeding the cow, ensure that you follow the ritual purity of Sanatana Dharma. That is, do not go without bathing to feed a cow. Bathe. Keep something on your forehead. Don't avoid going in front of a cow with an unmarked forehead. And when you do go and give something to a cow with an outstretched hand, think of making an offering to Vishnu and Lakshmi while you're giving it in the cow's or the bull's mouth. In front of the cow or the bull, behave the same way you are supposed to behave within a Vishnu temple. Folded hands, bowed head, if possible prostrate before it and do a namaskara to it. You pray to the cow anything that you would pray to Vishnu or Lakshmi in a temple, because they are venerable akaras of Vishnu and Lakshmi, equivalent to the archa in the temple. You can do that. Always pray for the well-being of cows. Praying for the well-being of cows is a very underrated thing in our religion today, in our society today, I should say rather. Cows are barely even cared for. They usually eat out of dustbins. They are seen roaming on the streets. They are seen going and basically scrounging around for food. You are supposed to, this is all symptomatic of an evil society, by the way, but in reality, you are supposed to constantly, in every prayer you say to Vishnu and Lakshmi every single morning, or even if you pray to any other deva, like you pray to Shiva, you pray to, for all I care, you could even pray to Kubera. You could pray to anyone, okay? Any deva. But when you do, please pray to them to keep cows and bulls happy and safe wherever they are. This is an obligatory prayer that every Sanatani must make to whichever deva they pray. Because praying itself for the well-being of a cow gives you the ability to wash away many of your previous lives' unknown sins. And it makes you reach great levels of spiritual and material prosperity in this life and in lives to come. So why wouldn't you do it? And whenever you can, do anything and everything possible in your power for the physical well-being of cows and bulls around you. You need not do something very big. You see a cow or a bull suffering somewhere, please call for help. You see a cow or a bull in some kind of distress, help it out. Get help. You see someone in your locality who owns a cow or a bull, periodically go and buy something for that cow or that bull. Give it oil cakes, give it fruits. These things don't cost much at all. These things can be done. And the more you keep them happy, they being the representatives of dharma will keep you happy. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. When you do the samrakshana of cows and bulls through their tapobala, their penance powers, will provide for your samrakshana. This should be borne in mind always. Cow or the bull is capable of giving you anything that Vishnu and Lakshmi give you. The Anushasana Parva of the Mahabharata says that you could in fact Spend the entirety of your life as a servant to cows and bulls, and at the end of the life they can actually give you Vaikuntha Gati. They are equal to the same Bhagavan in the temple. They just don't look like him, that's it. They are actually equal to the same Bhagavan in the temple. They are forms of Sri and Narayana themselves. When you worship cows and bulls, Bhishma tells Yudhishthira when he is on the arrow bed in Anushasana Parva and Mahabharata, he says, when you worship cows and bulls, or when you are able to give Rishabha Dana to a Brahmana, when you are able to give 2 bulls as Dana to a Brahmana, you spontaneously start gaining the wisdom of the Vedas. It just starts coming into your mind by itself, as if by magic. It just happens. These are all inexplicable metaphysical things, but he says it happens. Serving them starts giving you spontaneously Hari Bhakti, Bhakti towards Sri and Narayana, and it starts spontaneously making you a more Satvika person and a wiser person from a Vedantic viewpoint, a wiser person. Anything coming out of a cow for all these reasons is holy. It's dung, it's urine, it's milk. Anything is holy. It's and anything that comes out of its milk at the end of the day is also holy. For all these reasons, you never even in jest crack jokes about a cow. Whether you're in front of the cow or not, never crack jokes about them. Never make unsavory remarks about them. Even the smallest casual passing remark made in jest about a cow is very wrong. The Anushasana Parva of Mahabharata is very, very vocal about this. This one creature is exempt from being made fun of in any way. You shouldn't make fun of any creature for no reason at all, for that matter. This one creature, you make no fun ever of this one creature. Because the karma that comes back at you will be magnified hundreds of times, and you will become spontaneously a Rakshasic or an Asuric person, and in future lifetimes you might be born as a Mlecha, you might be born as a very reprehensible creature that will do even more adharma, because this adharma doesn't leave you for many lifetimes. It lingers around you and makes you do more and more adharma. So even in jest, do not say anything unsavory about a cow thinking, yeah, just a small remark, I really don't mean it. No, don't do that. Ultimately, do not ever give a cow what you will not give to a Brahmana. And when I say Brahmana, I'm not talking about the Brahmins of today who are merely born in the caste and they don't do anything in terms of following scripture. I'm talking about those Brahmanas who really follow the scriptures. They are born to a Brahmana father and a mother, and they are upholding the holiness of their Yajnopavita properly. I'm talking about those Brahmanas. Don't give a cow what you will not give as Bhiksha to a Brahmana. This is the rule, because the cow is a 4-legged version of a Brahmana, and therefore if you give a cow something you won't give a Brahmana, it's basically, like I said before, putting some evil, impure object into a yajna fire. Cows and bulls, needless to say, are equal to Sri and Narayana in a temple. And it is a very sad thing today that cows and bulls roam on the streets, uncared, unloved, eating out of dustbins. These sites should never be taken as evidence to say something like Sanatana Dharma is the reason why cows are being ill-treated, and that Sanatana Dharma is in some way responsible for the ill-treatment of cows. Sanatana Dharma says the exact opposite, in fact. What you see being done to cows and bulls today is symptomatic of an evil society which, despite having been Sanatani in its past, has turned to be this evil today. It's a sign of people's spontaneous evil, and the cure for all this is following the teachings of Sanatana Dharma with respect to cows properly and with full faith of serving Sri and Narayana. A shout out as usual to Dakshin Vrindavan, who are doing exactly this, taking care of cows. They're not a dairy farm, they don't take any milk from cows. They are a sanctuary where cows and bulls, primarily ones that have been rescued from slaughterhouses, are taken care of till the ends of their lives. And this is basically a place that runs completely on Vaishnava Dharma, on Vedic Dharma basically. And I would urge you to make any kind of contribution you can to them, or even better, physically help them, visit them, give them supplies, if possible provide them with land. I mean, whatever you can do, The least you can do in this regard is monetary support, and that is why monetary support is a very easy thing to do these days. But I would urge you that apart from monetary support to any Goshala, try to physically go there and actually do something within the eyesight of the cows, so that the cows look at you and they recognize that you're doing something for them, and they have this thought in their minds that, oh, this person is doing something for us. And merely that thought, a good thought that a cow or a bull has about you in its mind, will gain you a permanent place in the mind of Shri and Narayana. So a permanent favorable place. So think about it that way and keep doing Goseva always. Srimate Narayanaya Namo Namaha.